Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and we're going to be looking at Ogre starting rosters for Blood Bowl 2020. So what we're doing is we're going through all the teams and looking at what you can buy for a league that starts at 1 million. So we're not looking at tournament builds, and we're not going to be covering really strategy or skills for players as you develop in the league. What we are going to be doing is to talk about what you can start with and what we think you should start with. But first things first, when it comes to Ogres, we've got a few key changes to differentiate themselves from Blood Bowl 2016 to Season 2 or Blood Bowl 2020. And it's good. It's all good news for Ogre rosters here. So the punters, the runt punters, the Ogres, the Ogre kickers, 5k cheaper. Noblars also 5k cheaper, which is a massive price reduction. They've gone from 20k to 15k. So it's got real good. Buy one get one half price essentially. Kick teammate, talking of the runt punter, also got an improvement. It was a bit tricky in Blood Bowl 2016. Now essentially it works like throw teammate, but if it goes wrong your guy kind of dies. But it means you can throw teammate and kick teammate in very similar ways in the same turn. So having that punter is now really useful, not just because of the passing access on a regular skill, but you get that second thrown teammate essentially. And loads of star players. So the Ogres have access to 12 different star players just in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook, and I think there's only about 23 or 24 stars in total, so they get a load of choice when it comes to what to spend your petty cash on. As we go through these rosters, you'll see that each of these teams has got quite a lot of petty cash. We're assuming you're playing against a TV 1000 team at the beginning of your league. These guys have Noblars, who are the cheap lineman ability, which means they don't count towards your team value. So you have to buy them, but essentially they don't count as being there when you look at your team value. So you will get more petty cash, and they do have access to the Riotous Rookie special inducement, which gives you 2d3 plus 1 extra Noblars. So the first build we want to look at is the 4-4 build. So this hasn't really changed a huge amount since 2016. You get 3 Ogres, your 1 punter, and 4 rerolls. So 4 big guys, 4 rerolls. Now, you can take a bunch of Noblars. So we've put here 10 Noblars, but I think something to consider is you might want to take just 8 and save that extra 30k to put towards your next Ogre or an Apothecary or something like that. That roster there, I think, comes to bang on 1,000 or 995. Yeah, 995. So you can just take 8 Noblars instead, leaving you with 35,000 in the treasury for you to save up, depending on how you're intending on progressing your league team. So 155 in petty cash. If you only buy 8 Noblars, you get 185, and with that cash that gives you a keg, but more importantly it gives you that Riotous Rookies. So one of the biggest vulnerabilities of the Ogre team in Blood Bowl 2016 was that when you started to run out of Noblars, it was so easy for your Ogres to get tied up, and then you just didn't really get to play the game. Now you get 8 to 10 Noblars plus 2d3 plus 1 more, and you can kick them and throw them in the same turn. They become ammunition and you get more of them. So that's why that petty cash is so useful. We've got the 5 Ogre build next. So 4 Ogres, 1 punter, only 2 rerolls, and 10 Noblars. Again, you can drop that down to 8. 155 petty cash, so keg and your Riotous Rookies will get those numbers up. Having just 2 rerolls is really difficult, but the benefit of having 5 Ogres is they start farming their casualty SPP quicker. And now with the new league development system, so the SPP means you can save up 12 to get a double basically. So you can get block on the Ogres, but they just need to get 12 SPP first. Or you can spend 3 SPP and get a random regular skill. This is going to advance your Ogres quicker, but obviously you're going to be saving up 140k each time to get the reroll. So the benefit is 5 Ogres. The downside is that it's going to take you a while to get those additional rerolls. But if you're really not interested in rerolls, the Max Ogre build or the J-Man build, because we've got a listener called Jared who loves this roster. 5 Ogres, 1 Punter, 0 rerolls, and a bunch of Noblars. So if you buy 10 to max your roster out, maybe buy 8, save that 30k, you start off with as many Ogres as you can legally run in Blood Bowl without using a star player. And having 30 strength across those guys is huge. It's such a fun roster to play with. I think I streamed quite a few games using that very build, and there's a lot of mashing, there's a lot of smashing, there's an awful lot of losing as well, and having no rerolls is not as liberating as I think I said it was on the stream. If you're planning on playing to win, you shouldn't be using Ogres anyway, but if you want a good chance, you do need some rerolls. So I do wholeheartedly recommend the 4-4 build, but if you want a crazy amount of fun, this will get you there. And the more Ogres you've got, the more chance they've got of getting the MVP if you're using the random system, or just getting incidental casualties. You're going to end up with some skilled Ogres really quickly, but it's going to take you a while to get any rerolls at all. This also 155 petty cash. You can drop a couple of Noblars, that will well, it will stay the same, but you will have some stuff to buy with that petty cash. Let's have a look at the star players these guys can take. Helmut Wolf, Rumbelow. So Helmut Wolf is a chainsaw. Rumbelow Sheepskin is the halfling riding around on a sheep. He's got horns, he's got block. Quite a useful piece there. Strength 3 piece, 470k. Carla Von Kill, strength 4 piece. White Dwarf, got some interesting rules. Mighty Zug for 220, that's strength 5. You've got the Black Gobbo if you want to do some extra fouling. Gracken Crumbleberry is definitely worth considering. The downside of Ogres is that the Ogres are very expensive, 140k each, so you're not likely to get 250k in inducements very often, because you're going to be playing probably about 150k down to get at that point, but it will get you your 6th Ogre really quickly, or your 5th Ogre if you're running the 4-4 build, and having a second kick teammate piece could be quite useful. These guys get deep root now, so if you want a strength 6, strength 7 tree piece, I probably can't see it being used or being particularly effective in this roster, but it can be fun to run deep root. You got Varag, you got Griff, you got Grim Ironjaw, and Morg and Thorg. Although I've spelled his name wrong, Moore and Thorg. Thank you, autocorrect. With the star players getting cheaper, and with your guys having low-cost linemen, you will definitely be able to run this in league. I can see a situation where you've got enough to be running Morg. I would probably still recommend a wizard, an extra reroll, and riotous rookies to get you the extra players though, because they're going to give you a lot more flexibility. I do recommend the 4-4 build if you're going to be playing Ogres. 4 rerolls means you can do a lot. Ogres aren't that bad. They're Edge 4+, they're passing on a 5+ now, which again is fine. You're not really passing with Ogres very often anyway. They can do things, picking stuff up on a 4+. If you've got these 4 rerolls, your Ogres can actually achieve things, and your Noblars are really good fun. Let us know in the comments what you think of these lists, which one you're going to be taking, and what roster you want us to do next. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.